A California woman apparently told police that Trump cabinet pick Pete Hegseth physically blocked her from leaving her hotel room, took her phone away from her, and then sexually assaulted her, even though she remembered, quote, saying no a lot. That is what she told them. That and other details have now been made available thanks to the acquisition of the original police report from that alleged crime. And according to the report, the woman, who still anonymous, we don't know her name, told police that she ended up in Mr. Hegseth's hotel room after he spoke at a Republican women's conference in October 2017. She went there to work it. He allegedly went there to prey on women. Hardly surprising considering what we know about the MAGA movement. But the woman claimed that she was introduced to Mr. Hegseth at the end of the conference. She told the police that she had observed him acting inappropriately, including rubbing women's legs. In a text message, she told someone whose name was redacted that Mr. Hegseth, quote, was giving off a creeper vibe. Apparently, a couple of women had said that he kept asking them to go to his room, generally creeping out a bunch of the women there, allegedly. One witness told the police that the complainant was flirting with Mr. Hegseth, but another woman told the police that Mr. Hegseth acted aggressively toward her and that she hoped that the presence of the complainant would deter him. This other woman said Mr. Hegseth put his hand on her knee and, despite her objections, invited her back to his hotel room. So all of this is creepy alleged behavior. It gets worse from here on out. The woman, referred to throughout the report as Jane Doe, said that Mr. Hegseth took her phone, blocked his hotel room door when she tried to leave, and sexually assaulted her, ejaculating on her stomach. She said that her memory was hazy and that she had drunk far more alcohol than usual throughout the day. Mr. Hegseth told the police that he repeatedly sought the woman's consent for sex, making sure, quote, she was comfortable with what was going on, including the fact that he was not using a condom. Hegseth said that he believed the woman led him to his room and that he had no plans to have sex with her. Quote, he might have thought that with someone else, but not Jane Doe, the report said. And so we can get to more of the allegations, and we've been talking about them throughout the week, but just all the contextual stuff that is alleged about him apparently moving from woman to woman, getting gropey with them, trying to pressure them to go back to his room. Remember, the context here is that he's a former candidate, he's a Fox News personality. These are women getting involved in Republican politics, and he's kind of forcing himself, allegedly, on them. She's there with her husband and with her kids. And so it is not impossible that she seduced and brought back to his room Pete Hegseth and then stayed with him that night, despite the fact that that would be the most obvious adultery imaginable with her family there. And so we have these two different proposed stories, and it is, at the end of the day, I guess, he said, she said, although with the other witnesses weighing in, it's kind of a he said, she said, she said, she said together. So the entire thing is gross. I hope that this is enough maybe to get Donald Trump to pick someone else who won't have these allegations hanging over his head, and maybe also will be remotely qualified for the position of Secretary of Defense. But what do you make of it, Viviana?
I think you're really hitting the nail on the head here. Sadly, I have experienced something very similar. I know many women that have experienced something similar. And when you are trying to climb up into an entertainment channel, into a politic channel, you want to rub elbows with these people. Have I been guilty of using my sexual prowess to flirt and to sort of get these men interested in who I am, and maybe they're going to be impressed with me? Yes, I have. I don't drink, John. I have many friends and family members who have gotten themselves in a position where they are drinking heavily, and then that line gets crossed. It's always he said, she said. It is always he said, she said. And when you pop on that pink kitty hat, you have to continue, because this is a discussion and a point connecting to that Weinstein trauma. We have to believe women. Are there some outliers out there? Yes. Is a woman who's calling herself Jane Doe someone who's going to do that? Someone who's trying to get up in the world? I doubt it highly. I think it was embarrassing for her to express. It was embarrassing for me this second to say, yeah, I have flirted to try to get up, to try to get that attention. Am I part of the problem? Absolutely. We have to be honest with it. Did she do anything wrong? Did she consent to have sex with him? I don't think so. I think she didn't want to believe that it happened. Nobody wants to believe that they've been taken advantage of. It is a very horrific experience, particularly because we are not believed. This is a
Yeah.
powerful man. And she didn't want to say no to him. She didn't want him to be mad at her, because saying no and saying, I'm going to go report this to the cops, is erasing her chances at a career. So this is disgusting. The fact that a man would barricade you into his room, which has exactly happened to me, and stop you from leaving. When this happened to me, this guy did not rape me. I got away. I had to be very aggressive. I hadn't drank a drop. If I was really inebriated, I don't know that I would have been able to be that aggressive. And I had told my friends, stay away from this guy. This is when I started my TV career, and he was sort of, up there in a show that I wanted to be a part of. And I said, well, this guy is dangerous. Soon enough, a few years later, he raped somebody, gets convicted of rape in a bathroom stall at a club. She was so
Jesus.
drunk, she was passed out. These are the kind of guys that do this. If there is evidence of him blocking you into his room, the way she described this, I have no doubt that it's true.
Yeah. I mean, again, I don't know. We can only report on them as allegations, but I mean, there's a lot of people weighing in, and we know the way he has spoken before. We don't know for sure, but first of all, I'm obviously incredibly sorry that you had to go through that experience. By the way, let me just throw out, I don't know if a lot of people have mentioned this. So she's anonymous. We don't know what happened to her after this. Maybe she did lose her career. Maybe she lost her family as a result of this. We have no idea. Like, she and many Republicans be like, oh, they're just making accusations so they can get famous. It was anonymous. Why would she? And the idea that it's just like regret. First of all, her family is literally there. The idea that she would do this, and then to cover, she rushes to the cops immediately the next morning to have a rape kit done. That just doesn't seem reasonable to me. Pete Hegseth being a creep, that seems kind of on brand. And anyway, and look, the least important part of this, if there are any like conservative men here, why do you guys look up to guys like Pete Hegseth and Matt Gaetz? Like all these, and Donald Trump, like all of these guys, they're like, yeah, no, I'm this like big alpha guy, and I'm just continually creeping out women who don't want to sleep with me. Why is that admirable to you? Maybe like admire guys who women actually are interested in because they're not gross creeps. Consider that. I don't know. Stop admiring these absolute monsters or alleged monsters. Anyway, any other thoughts before we move on?
This is why these type of men try to gain power, because they know it's going to allow them to have access to grab women by the kitty and to do those kinds of things. And what does she have to gain, John? You touched on that. What all of those other women that same night said he was creeping them out. What does Jane Doe have to gain?
Yeah.
She probably doesn't have a career. If she does, she has to stay away. Everybody knows he knows who she is. Anyway, it's a
Yeah.
sad.
And this is why a lot of these guys want their TV shows and want to be in elected office. They love it. The accent. It's the Donald Trump, Billy Bush thing. That's all it is. Well, I mean, I guess if you're a celebrity, they'll let you do it. I guess I can be a crazy creep if I just get famous enough. Gross.